Would you fly halfway around the world to go on a hike? Well, it's more than a hike. It's the Camino de Santiago, or the Way of St. James, or just simply the Camino, as it's popularly known. It's in Spain and sees almost 500,000 visitors every year hiking this path on the way to the traditional burial site of St. James, which is now home to a big cathedral. I'm Kyle Hyman from Mac Studios. I love to hike. I mean, if you give me the choice between a beach and a big city or a poorly marked path, I'm ready for the wilderness. I'm probably gonna get lost, but I'm gonna enjoy it. And 4 mentors and 8 students went on a trip, a pilgrimage to the Camino, and I'm excited to share their stories. First up, Dr. Ulyses Balderas was the leader of the trip, and it actually started as a course that the students took. He talks about why they wanted to even offer this experience.
When we were promoting the program, we had our information sessions. We also had classes here before departure. I was telling my students, you get involved into a routine, and then you just wake up, you do this, you do that, and I kind of refer to this example. It's like you just get into a highway, and you just get into the motion, right? But you don't take a break to kind of reflect and say, hey, let me stop for a little bit. Let me get a time for myself. Let me take to reflect. And the Camino gives you that, right? So that gives you the time, that gives you opportunity to kind of break the routine, to step away from the highway and just to, okay, now I am going to allocate certain time to myself. And then everything else comes with that.
I love this analogy of getting off the highway for a break or to refuel. But this isn't a vacation. It's actually pretty intense.
We would have breakfast at the place where we normally stayed at. Every day we were walking about, between 14 and 18 miles. And everybody was doing it at their own pace. Luckily, we had an assistant vehicle. Dr. Joe and I were and Father Eduardo, the responsible of the group. Sometimes students were walking by pairs, by a group of 3 or 4, sometimes by themselves. Along the way, you have different stops where you can buy a drink, a snack, but we also had the assistant vehicle, so every 4 miles about that, we had the vehicle waiting for us, with snacks, waters, and also the people that were kind of taking care of us. They were with yellow jackets, so when you were kind of tired and you saw from the very far that yellow jacket, you're like, oh, we're very close, so we can do this.
One thing you'll hear other people mention as well is the group reflections or conversations that they would have in the evenings.
After conversations with some of the students, these also help them to, reflect on their lives, to consider what is it that they are heading to. I mean, I think that's the most important part. The fact that we live in a very different world. Social media is there, you don't have time to do everything, school, family, but really it was just time for you. These conversations that we had with students, sometimes they ask you for advice or for input, or just the fact that you're sharing your life, your some aspects of your life with them. Oh, wow, I didn't know that you did this. I didn't know that you... I think, helps them to also decide what is it that they really want to do.
So whether it's the Camino or the Appalachian Trail or a shrine down the road, taking time away shouldn't seem like a waste of time and money.
I normally tell students to see this as an investment in themselves. Studying abroad or a pilgrimage, I think is having an impact on you, or is going to have an impact in the future.
So one of the themes that was part of this pilgrimage was, what are we taking with us? What are we leaving behind? Not just physically, like what would you pack for a trip like this, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. What should we take with us? What do we leave behind? So we'll be unpacking that, pun intended. But until then, be sure to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to hear about some of the hiccups that were involved putting this together, or the nervousness one might have going into a trip like this, or how being uncomfortable might be exactly what we need at times, then hit the notification bell. You'll be the first to know when the next episode of Mac Stories comes out. I'm Kyle Hyman from Mac Studios. Until next time, God bless.